The big story nationally today may be continuing right now. This is breaking news. A suspicious package has caused the evacuation of a mail center near downtown L.A. We're being told that the package was addressed to Representative Maxine Waters. This is the latest in a string of disturbing incidents that have happened today. We're talking about someone mailing pipe bombs. Tonight, the manhunt is on for whoever or whatever group is sending suspected of explosive devices to prominent Democrats and also the headquarters of CNN.
The intended victims, people often disparaged by President Trump, including former President Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. The first pipe bomb-like device was found Monday at the New York home of billionaire Democratic donor George Soros. A common theme, several of the apparent bombs were sent through the U.S. mail service.
So tonight we're looking into this. What security measures are being taken when it comes to delivering your mail?
Team 12's William Pitts is verifying that for us tonight.
There are billions of pieces of mail that go through the Postal Service every day. So is anybody actually checking the mail after it goes to the post office?
These were apparently pipe bombs, explosives stuffed in a pipe with a clock somehow attached. Former ATF bomb technician Tony May says that clock is strange. It may mean the bomb maker didn't really know how to build a bomb.
It's a good possibility that they may not have been designed to function.
But the explosive inside was real, and while it wouldn't have been a large explosion, it would have been deadly.
The individual opening the package would have been the one that would have been injured or killed.
And the bombs appear to have been sent through the U.S. mail, where there are people looking for bombs. According to the U.S. Postal Inspector's Office, they look for warning signs when it comes to mail, things like no return addresses. Post office clerks are trained to look for sketchy customers and their actions, and they have scanners to check the mail that seems suspicious. After 9/11, the post office admitted it takes photos of all the mail it sorts, but only keeps those photos for about a month. But unless they have a suspicion, they can't open your mail without a warrant. Other carriers like FedEx and UPS have their own screening procedures that they don't really talk about. But the Postal Inspection Service says they've had no biological or chemical attacks since the anthrax letters in 2001. But here's the catch. May says they don't screen everything for explosives.
No, there is no real screening done by the Postal Service when these things go through the mail.
So we can verify the post office does screen suspicious mail, but not everything you mail gets scanned. William Pitts, 12 News.